Hello, everyone. This is Federico Arellano. You can find me at Arellano Yo with double L and a Y. And it is a pleasure for me to be here again with a new, very important member of the um, entrepreneurial ecosystem. This is Jane, who is joining us from the Netherlands. Hello, are you there?
Hi, Fede. Yes, I'm here.
It's very nice to meet you, Jane. Um, First of all, can you tell us your full name and where do you live?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first, let me say thank you for having me. It's great to join you and join your community. I'm joining you from Gouda in the Netherlands, and my full name is Jane van der Plas.
That's amazing. Thank you for accepting the interview. Um, First of all, how would you define entrepreneurship?
The very easy answer is developing new manners to create value. And then it really depends on what value you mean, because this can be many different things. Usually you think about economic value, but I like to focus on social value a lot more.
That's amazing. Can you tell us a little more on what you do on your daily basis?
Yes, absolutely. So I regularly wear two hats. On the one hand, I'm involved in a startup where we have a SaaS model for e-commerce. And on the other hand, which is where I develop my entrepreneurship a little bit more, even though it's not in the business side, is with the Mexican Talent Network in the Netherlands. And we are basically a group of Mexicans that live here in the Netherlands with many different backgrounds, from some are students, but also entrepreneurs, academics, and mostly very highly qualified people that are living in here for different reasons. And we basically try to develop projects to connect these people back to people in Mexico to contribute to Mexico whilst we're abroad, because I should probably mention that I am originally Mexican.
That's amazing. I mean, we're gonna talk a little more later about the importance of an ecosystem, of creating ecosystem when being an entrepreneur. And I think that what you do on both hats, right? It's just great to have on one side experience of being in the fire zone, and in the other to be part of this ecosystem and of this vibrant network of people living abroad, right? Which is quite challenging by itself. And if you add the entrepreneurial, and if you add this other layers of extra complexity of living abroad, that's great. In this in with this hat under this approach, why would you think entrepreneurship is ecosystem for the society?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yes, why is entrepreneurship important for the Netherlands society, for the Mexican society? Um, how do you think that the entrepreneurial importance relies on?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Well, I think entrepreneurs are agents of change. They are important because they simply are creating new frameworks or new business models in which they can pursue different objectives and they can help others. And they also deliver benefits for themselves, but also for society. They address needs that communities have and they can fill gaps that exist.
And talking about this, like these gaps and these things that entrepreneurs do, what would you say are the main challenges that face entrepreneurship, that face entrepreneurships in the Netherlands? It could be Mexican entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general in this country that you live.
Well, I think here in the Netherlands, it's really easy to start your own business, and it's quite common that people do it. But usually, they're happy with just starting and having their own business, and they do their own thing. And I think it's a challenge that people are not necessarily motivated to grow or to develop, and that's not their aim. Their aim is to be okay, and they don't look to grow more and do more.
That's that's very interesting and very different of the other point of views that I've seen in this space. I would like to keep talking about this specifically. In the first question, you answered about social impact. How do you see social impact entrepreneurs in the Netherlands? Is it talking about this motivation? Is it something that motivates entrepreneurs up there? Is it something they do not consider that much because they live in a country that everything is super cool and everyone rides bikes? What would you think are the main concerns about society in the entrepreneurs that you've been working with?
Yeah, I would actually say that it's in the forefront of all entrepreneurs to contribute to society. People are very worried or very aware of the fact that they are able to be entrepreneurs because they've had certain privileges. They know they live in a very good country with a system that supports them a lot, and so they decide to address issues. So, for instance, there's a startup incubator in which I've recently been in contact that focuses on working with refugee people here in the Netherlands. There's also several initiatives that are addressing issues and in the environment, for example, the ocean cleanup, which started here in the Netherlands, where they are collecting plastic from the rivers before it reaches the ocean. So a lot of the entrepreneur work that you see in the Netherlands is focused on social issues.
That's amazing. Yeah, and of course, when I think about the Netherlands, I also think about green entrepreneurships and about green initiatives and everyone supporting them. What do you think? It's the opinion of large corporations, of governments, towards this sort of initiatives. And I would like to complement that question with what would you think are the main advantages for entrepreneurs in the Netherlands? Um, about this network, about the government, about the investors. Please tell us a little more about why is it good to be, let's say, a green entrepreneur in the Netherlands.
Yeah. I think there's an amazing network of support. For instance, you talk about the big guys. So you have the corporates or the large companies that have been around for 50 plus years. And something quite interesting is that a lot of them are actually creating in-house programs for entrepreneurship. And they're creating programs where they create companies, like a smaller company within their company, where they have their own team and they start experimenting and working in agile manners and just doing trials and doing things different because they've noticed that their traditional models are not necessarily the best and that they need to work in different ways. And they are also very much focusing on, okay, we have our business model, which works very well, but we need to change and we need to contribute to society. So that's when they include a lot of these green initiatives or sustainable opportunities or things that benefit the community at large. And yeah, that's so there's a lot of support for smaller companies. It is also, as a country in the Netherlands, it's quite easy to start a company. You just go online, you fill out a form at the Chamber of Commerce, then you make an appointment at the notary, you pay 50 euros, and you can have your own limited company. Basically, you can do it in less than a week, and also filing your taxes and all the things that come with open a company is really simple, so the barrier of entry is extremely low.
Wow, so much to learn about this. Um, I mean, let's say the administrative part of running a business, I think it's just amazing, and it's like so much countries like Mexico, where I am based right now, we can learn about, but also about the entrepreneurship, right? About these stories of a lot of companies starting, like raising businesses inside. That's also amazing. I have a question. This is just pure curiosity. How old, in average, are entrepreneurs that run like small companies in these large corporations? Do they reach younger entrepreneurs? Do they reach a little more mature entrepreneurs? Which is the age that it's more suitable for entrepreneurs to go and knock on the door of a company and say, okay, this is my idea. Probably this will make sense to you.
Yeah, I think, I mean, in my experience, I've seen both people in their mid to senior level who
Hmm.
say, like, oh, what we're doing doesn't work, so I want to try something else, and they're given the space to try it. But I've also seen very young people fresh out from university who have a great idea, who come knock doors and actually get hurt. And I think that's something really nice in the Netherlands, that there's very, people don't really judge you depending on your age or your experience. They'll meet you, they'll talk to you, they'll listen to your ideas, and based on that contact that you have is that they'll give you an opportunity or not.
That's so great. I think that in average, there's this survey about entrepreneurship worldwide, and I think that the average of a successful entrepreneur to be presented at a company would be probably late 30s. But I think it's amazing that young people, especially those who come from universities, can actually have an opportunity to knock the door and get heard. That's so great. So we're reaching pretty much the end of the interview. There's just two more questions for you. One would be, um, what do you do, and how are you related? You already shared a little with us about the network that you work with, but how are you related to entrepreneurship in the Netherlands?
Well, clearly, I do it a lot through the Mexican Talent Network there. I'm constantly meeting people. We also come up with different projects that we want to do, both here in the Netherlands or connected to Mexico. But I also try to stay active in what's happening in my local scene. So there's constantly different events, like there's workshops, or there's meetups, or networkings, or there's also, I've participated in pitches of companies, even though I'm not an investor. I just go to listen to hear what they're doing, to learn from what things are happening. So I try to just attend events a lot and talk to people and see what's going on. And
That
also, I very much try to connect people when I see opportunities. You know, if there's something here and I know somebody in the network is like, hey, maybe this is something interesting for you. So I try to be active like that as well.
that's amazing. And finally, what is the message that you want to give to the entrepreneurs of the world, people that may be listening to you from Asia, from Africa, of course, from Latin America? What's the message that you have for all of the entrepreneurs worldwide?
Well, I want to tell them something that took me a while to learn, and that's you do not need to have the perfect plan on what you're going to do. You do not need to have a final project or the product ready. You The best thing as an entrepreneur is just start. Start small, but start, and then with time you can perfect it, you can improve it, and you can slowly grow. But if you don't start, you're not going to get anywhere. So just start.
That's amazing. Thank you, Jane, very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. It is a pleasure meeting you, and keep in touch then.
Absolutely. Nice meeting you, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Well, see you on the next one.